Hello, I'm Steve Kaufman.
And I'm Phil Kaufman, and we're farmers in the Lewiston area growing wheat,
Barley,
canola,
garbanzo beans,
lentils,
and hay, among other crops that other farmers in Nez Perce and Nesotan counties around here like to do. The Nez Perce Soil and Water Conservation District has asked us to put together this short film today to teach you about soil and to introduce a fun poster contest that they're sponsoring.
and we'll tell you more about that poster contest after our presentation. So let's get started with life in the soil. Dig deeper. So where is soil? Well, about 75% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. The remaining 25% is covered in some kind of soil, and of that 25%, there are also mountains and deserts that may or may not be fertile and usable for growing crops. So a soil profile can be a useful tool in determining how fertile a soil could be. So what is a soil profile? A soil profile is a section of soil from the top layer at ground level down to the rock or sediment layer from which it was formed. The different layers from the top to the bottom and in between are called horizons. Not all soil profiles look alike. There are many types of soil, and their profiles can vary in color, depth of horizon, and many other ways. So soil can come in a lot of different colors based on the mineral content that soil is made up of. For instance, if you've ever seen a reddish soil, they typically have more iron content, kind of like a rusty piece of metal. Typically, your soil in the top layer is darker because it has more broken down plant and animal matter in it, and it's more suitable for growing crops that way. When I was a student at the University of Idaho, I was actually on a soils judging team where we went around the country and judged different soils and what they would be best suited for, whether that be growing crops, grazing for cattle, or building buildings on.
We aren't the only ones who need soil. When you're standing on the soil, you're standing on something that's alive with lots of living organisms. For instance, earthworms don't have a nose like we do, but they, just like many animals, breathe in oxygen and out CO2. They need a soil that isn't compacted down, so they have the ability to move and burrow their holes into it. And they need plant material and organic matter, so they have something to eat. So who else lives in the soil? Well, maybe if you've been out on the ground, you've picked up a rock and you've seen ants, millipedes, spiders,
Pillbugs,
beetles,
pillbugs,
all sorts of things scurrying away.
and pillbugs.
Okay, Phil, and pillbugs. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's many thousands of microscopic organisms you can't even see in each square inch of soil. It's very important to remember that we all need healthy soil. Plants and trees use soil for their medium of growth, for their roots to anchor them in the ground. Homes and buildings are built on solid soil so they don't move when the weather, climate, whatever changes. The food that we eat grows in the soil. The soil can also act like a filter to filter out contaminants from the rain or runoff from streets so that it doesn't get into our rivers and contaminate the water that we all drink. We all need healthy soils. Soil can take thousands or even millions of years to form. That's why it's very important to take care of the soil that we have. As the world's population grows, the amount of ground actually available to farm and grow crops on is decreasing as homes are built on them or soil's not taken very well care of and no longer becomes suitable for farming. Remember, we can't survive without healthy soil. We need healthy soil to provide the food, shelter, and even clothing that we need. There's many things that you can do to help your soil be healthy, like compost and recycle. So what does soil fertility mean? Well, it means that the soil is healthy. And how do we as farmers determine if a soil is healthy? Well, let's head out to the field and I'll show you. So I'm going to show you as a farmer how we take a soil sample down in the soil profile to determine what nutrients are there and what our plants might need added to grow a healthy, large crop. What we're going to do is take this soil probe and shove it way down in the soil. We're going to get a sample of what the soil in the first foot looks like. You can see here that there is a darker amount of soil at the top, and it gets lighter colored the further down you go. That's because more organic matter is near the top, meaning recently broken down plant pieces for the most part. We even have a worm in this first foot that we've taken here. After we scrape that first foot out into a bucket, we're going to go ahead and shove it down again and get what the soil looks like between the first and second foot. And it's going to be kind of medium color. Then we're going to shove it down again and get the third foot of soil and scrape that into this third foot bucket. We're going to mix those all up, and we're going to put them in a bag, and we're going to ship them off to the soils lab, and they'll tell us how much nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, and a lot of other things are in the soil and what we need to add.
More recycling cuts down on the need for more landfills, which are built in soil. Recycling can also help cut down on our need to mine new natural resources like iron. Composting is another great way to help soil health. You can compost a lot of things, from the leaves in your yard to what's left over of your lunch when you're done eating. You can put all of that unused organic material into a pile, and then after it is broken down, you can spread it over the soil in your garden or even in your lawn, and it's like giving the soil a vitamin. Spreading that mulch over the ground helps it from getting too hot or too cold and helps it preserve the moisture that it has. One of the big things we should all look out for is soil erosion. So if you look outside when it's raining a lot, you might see dirty water running down a road or a ditch bank. And that is rainwater mixed with soil that is getting transported away. As farmers, we're constantly on guard against soil erosion. We are trying to keep a good mulch layer on top of the ground so that that soil doesn't have an opportunity to run away and get into our water systems. You too can help with soil erosion by planting plants or trees in your yard. Those roots from those plants help keep the soil there and keep it from eroding. So I took some pictures of our farm and some of the equipment that we use to help manage our soils and keep them healthy and fertile. The first picture is of our no-till drill and tractor. We use this machine to add those nutrients that the plants will need to grow a good crop and help us to not have to till the ground more and risk having more soil erosion. The second picture is of our sprayer. We use this piece of equipment to add small amounts of nutrients to the crop while it's growing and help us to control pests like weeds and insects without tilling the soil. And the last picture is every farmer's favorite picture of a combine, because that's our payday.
Take care of the soil,
and it will take care of you.
Only about 10% of the Earth's surface is suitable for growing crops and for us to build houses on.
So our healthy life above ground depends on healthy soil below ground. That makes it vital that we practice good soil conservation.
Help is here!
The Nez Perce Soil and Water Conservation District is here to help us all care for our soils.
So that's why the Conservation District is sponsoring this poster contest with the theme, Life in the Soil, Dig Deeper.
It's open to all public, private, and homeschooled students in the 5th grade.
Just submit your poster to your teacher, and remember, the due date is April 17th.
There are prizes for the first, second, and third place winners at the local, state, and national level.
So what are the rules? Well, attach your poster entry form on the back of each poster, and be sure it is signed by a parent or guardian. The entry must be the contestant's original creation and may not be traced from photographs or other artists' published works. Any media may be used to create a flat poster. You could use paint, crayons, stickers, or whatever you'd like. And remember, it's due April 17th.
So what makes a good poster? Something that attracts attention, is simple and concise, uses colors and white space effectively, with text large enough to be easily read.
What kind of steps should you follow? To start with, research the topic of the theme. Brainstorm ideas and make a list. Use the theme as your title. Life in the soil, dig deeper. Use some of the important water issues from this presentation. Look around your community for ideas. Talk to professionals in the industry. And research soil health online and use the information found in your poster.
So here's a few do's and don'ts for this contest that you can refer back to or ask your teacher about.
And here's what your poster will be judged on. First and foremost, the conservation message, so sticking to the theme. Then visual effectiveness, and also originality and universal appeal. And here are some resources for additional information. Thanks for paying attention, except for you in the back.
Hey Steve, you were that kid in the back. Thank you for participating, and good luck making your posters.